Hey there, Squirrel Army. How's it going for today? Another deck that you guys have voted for is the Nacri deck. I like the idea of this deck. The problem I find is sagas are a little bad, but we're gonna do it. Alrighty, so we're gonna get into this one. So let's go over to the EDH Rex. As I sort of said, this is a good way to sort of start. I often start by looking through some of the stuff that comes up here and go through some of this stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff, obviously. There's a lot of stuff that, might be hit and miss or whatever. That is the way the sagas kind of go, unfortunately, but it is what we've got to deal with. We're mostly an Enchantress deck anyway, so we're going to run all the good Enchantress stuff as well. But I'm guessing the way to win is the thing. Like, because we want to get our sagas back. Obviously, of course, again, you can put this for the Tom Bombadil list and that sort of thing. So there is that. Um, so don't forget that. But anyway, I will do my best to do this list some justice and put it together for you guys and show you just what's going on with this.
You can join the Squirrel Army by subscribing.
Alrighty, so finished up the list here for this one. And before I go too far in explaining the list and whatnot, if you're not super interested, again, as always, you can check out the deck list down there in the description. Um, I think it's a pretty fun list, and yeah, then you can do what you will with it if you're more of a person who sort of plays cards rather than reading about cards. Because I know a lot of people are like that, so that's all cool. For those people who do want a bit more of explanation and how the cards kind of work together, what the main strategy is, how you win, etc. Go through that kind of stuff. Just over $200. Like I say, it's not too deep with the lands, and I'm not really going to go through all the lands and whatnot's in here because, yeah, it's a bunch of duels, some basics. I think there's one kind of cool one in Nesting Grounds. You move counters around and Khan's Bastion. Those ones are pretty cool because of what the strategy is, but they're pretty well known kind of cards. So I'm not going to go through too much. Um, I'm not probably going to go through too much of the removal because it's just a bunch of either really good removal that's in our colors like swords and path, or just sagas that remove stuff for us. And that's mostly all they really do. Like, yeah, you get some other stuff from some of them and things like that, but still, they're not that super amazing. Not going to go through the card draw too much either because it's kind of stock standard for most enchantment decks. We do have a couple of sagas that are in there that are just jammed in. So that kind of rounds it out. Um, this Thrall Parasite, though, I don't even think I'll go through too much of the ramp either because, again, same sort of thing. A bunch of really good ramp that's sort of in our colours that's also an enchantment for the most part, or whatever. That's what we've got. But the Thrall Parasite, I want to talk about this. This is pretty cool. I do wish I had found room for the other Extort enchantment, but I didn't. Maybe there's something in here that you can cut for it. Because those Extort abilities are usually pretty decent in decks like these. Your And it is a pillow fort card, so it is quite useful. And this is quite useful in its own regards as well. You can also tap it to and lose 2 life to remove a counter from a non-land permanent. So that includes sagas. So that can really help us out, sort of resetting or getting extra uses out of some of our sagas, keeping them around for longer, getting the better triggers eventually, or whatever. Um, Usually, you want to advance your sagas, but you also kind of want to sometimes get the first trigger or the second trigger or whatever it is again. So when you remove that counter, you put it back on the next upkeep, so you'll trigger it again. So that can be quite good. I only found one proliferate thing, so actually, there's the engines and whatnot that are in their colors that could be in here for more proliferate, but I didn't put them in. Sad. Um, there's a couple of really cool new cards that I haven't really seen much of, like Ruthron Regent. That seems quite cool. The Visitor. That seems quite cool for our specific strategy because we're having lots of enchantments going to the graveyard, so that can ping our opponents. So that feels kind of good for what we're kind of doing, and gives us extra value and extra range to kill our opponents. I want to go through some of the recursion here because that is something that you do need a lot of in decks like this, especially like sagas and things like that. You really need a lot of this sort of stuff, and you do need to be able to protect it pretty well because, yeah, when you get value off of a saga, you don't just want to get value off of it once, twice, or whatever. You want to get it as many times as what you can, because again, you know, you're all about that engine and that value, and you know, there's only so many cards in your deck sometimes, and only so much power in which to, utilize them. So having this sort of level of recursion is kind of a thing that you kind of need to do with decks like these. You really need that. I don't know if there's much else though. Grim Guardian's an obvious one. Again, gives us more range for our enchantments to kill. And a lot of the stuff that's here with the token generators and whatnot is a lot of our win conditions like Sigil, Hallowed Haunting, and Archon's Son's Grace. Those are usually the things that, pump out a lot of bodies for us. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of life drain effects within these colors, so we kind of got to settle for tokens, but still that's okay. We can turn a lot of them sideways, a lot of them are flyers, or make our stuff flyers, so at that point it's pretty decent evasion, so we can kill pretty easy. So that is pretty much what I've got for this one. This is a big step away from the other one, which is more just in general enchantments. Sure, you can play sagas as sort of a sub theme of that, but this one actually does care more broadly or more specifically about sagas. So, and as I said, it's a little sad because I don't think it'll get that much love, but it is a cool deck because, Tom Bombadil's out there and everyone just wants to play $5 good stuff, so... But whatever, that is what it is. But you guys can let me know what you think. Write your thoughts down there in the comments below. Hope you've enjoyed, and hope you will join me again in the next one.